Now, as Football Manager 2024 draws much closer, there are special tactics that are high risk, high rewards for Football Manager 2023 you can use in your save. And if you're using a mid-table team or a team that is an underdog, or you're trying to compete with teams in the top leagues or trying to compete with top teams in your division, there is a special tactic. This high risk, high reward tactic will get you over the line. Creates a lot of chances and scores a lot of goals and somehow takes the fight to the opposition head on. It's very risky, so I will recommend that you actually watch the games and do manage the game and see how the tactic is unfolding. But I've gone on to test this tactic with a few teams that are not one of the, let's say, not much of the top teams in Football Manager, of course. Ipswich Town, Kaiserslautern, RC, Anderlecht, Corvina, Zvezda, and Notts County. We'll start with Ipswich Town because we're already here. Ipswich have a media prediction of 21st. They are predicted to battle for relegation in the championship, but for some reason, Ipswich Town actually managed to go on to finish in the promotion places. I think they are in the semi-finals of the championship, as we can see here. And if you look at the league table in the championship, you just go on to be more specific, go into the stages, and then look at the league form, the league table where they are. They're currently in third place, and they've scored a lot of goals in playing with this system, and they're not even the best team in the championship. They have the most goals with 83, and then if you look at the most possession as well, Ipswich do have a possession of 60% on average. Kaiserslautern are the second team that we tested, and I don't think the results were overly hyped, to be honest. I'm going to look at what they are expected to finish in the division. So they're expected to finish in 10th place, but for some reason Kaiserslautern actually snuck their way into 5 or into 5th position. But although their stats do look underwhelming, they actually did better than where they were supposed to finish according to predictions. In the German Bundesliga 2, not a lot of teams scored a lot of goals, and Kaiserslautern were in 4th place with 50 goals, and then the team that eventually won the league actually scored only 54 goals. Possession wise, they do have 58% possession, which is too short of what Ipswich Town did go on to have. Anderlecht, on the other hand, are the best team in the Belgium Jupiler Pro League. They do have higher possession ratings in 63% possession. Considering that this tactic is actually not really a possession based tactic, it's awkward how they do go on to have higher numbers in possession. Most goals for Anderlecht as well with 82, and I think they're currently sitting in 2nd place. That's probably where they are predicted to finish anyway. And Notts County is another one that stood out for me because Notts County are not the best team in the Sky Bet League 2. If I'm being, I think they were promoted this year, so they're somehow in League 2 because of the database that I'm using. But they are still managing to dominate most of the teams that are playing in here. Now they have automatic promotion to Sky Bet League 1 using this tactic, and the most goals in the Sky Bet League 2 was Notts County, of course, with 88, and then they do have the most possession as well with 61% possession. Tactic will get you goals, that's for certain, but like I mentioned, it's a bit high risk, high reward, so you need to actually be cautious of how you're going on to use this tactic. And if you're a mid-table team, it will elevate the style of play that you have in the league and help you to punch above your weight. Now for lower league teams, this is somewhat the perfect system because it kind of has all the roles that they're going to need or require if you're playing in the lower leagues. And then looking at the goalkeeper to begin with, is actually a standard goalkeeper on defend duty as opposed to the sweeper keeper on defend, so it's kind of awkward and different from most tactics that you might come across. But standard goalkeeper on defend duty is quite useful in the lower leagues, and then you have 2 central defenders on defend duty as well, and you have 2 wing backs on support duty. Neither of these players or any of the players that I mentioned do go on to have any player instructions within them. It's a blank canvas where you can go on to tweak and then work it for yourself. And then if you're curious as to if you can use a ball playing defender in one of the roles, yes, I highly recommend that you can go on to switch on one of your central defenders to play as a ball playing defender in this role, in case you have a more creative player or the player that you have in your defense is more suited to play a ball playing defender role. You can go on to include that and then allow him to play that role. Then you leave the other guy as a central defender on defense. Now the linchpin in your tactic is your defensive midfielder on defend duty. He's almost acting like an anchor man really, but this guy is going to just be there to try and protect the back four. The other players that are ahead of him are going to do a lot more attacking jobs, and the wing backs on support duty are also going to get high up the pitch. So your back three, your solid, what's the word they call that? Your rest defense is basically your defensive midfielders, and then your central defenders and your goalkeeper. So they're going to have to be the ones to try and mop up and try to protect the defense. The other guys are going to also try to come back once in a while, but it's mostly these 3 that are going to help you protect your defense. And then you have a box-to-box midfielder on support duty. Also, if you look at that, there's no instruction attached to him. And right beside the box-to-box midfielder on the left-hand side, you have an inverted winger on attack duty. No instruction attached to him, but then the defaults are to dribble more and then to cut inside with the ball and get further forward. On the right-hand side, we do have a player high up on the flanks. Is a winger on support duty. He's supposed to stretch the play and try to drag your position to the right-hand side. Try to stretch the pitch and then allow other players to come into play. In attack, we do have 2 strikers. One is a pressing forward on attack duty, and then the other is an advanced forward on attack duty. Neither of them have any player instructions attached to them, but I do recommend for the advanced forward on attacking, go on to include shoot more often. For some reason, it sort of works this year and then allows or encourages the player not to spend much time on the ball and just try to hit the shot and try to take his chances as soon as he's in a clear opportunity to do so. Now, for the team instructions out of possession, the team is expected to play with a high press and then a standard defensive line, and they're also been instructed to prevent short goalkeeper distributions. I do like this on FM23. It sort of forces your opposition into rash decisions and helps them to just loop the ball forward and not bother about trying to play out from the back. Some teams will play out from the back, so you have to be very wary. This is the part where I say you need to actually watch the match and see what is going on. If your team, the opposition that you're playing against, is actually good at playing out from the back, you don't want to always trigger or prevent short goalkeeper distribution, because they will always play through you somehow, and that's not very good. So sometimes you can try to take that off and not force the press too much. So much more often trigger press is also included in this. Now, for in transition, the goalkeeper first of all has been asked to distribute the ball to the center backs, and now how fast he's going to do that is entirely up to you. You can choose to distribute it quickly, you can choose to slow the pace down in case you're going towards the ending part of the match and then you want to try to see out the victory. You can choose to slow the pace down and allow the goalkeeper to kind of kill the game off. You also have the counter press and then the counter instruction selected. Because the tactic is kind of deep, like a 4-2-4 makeshift 4-1-4-1 system, it helps to have counter-attacking instructions selected because your team can actually go on multiple breaks when they have the opportunity to do so. Now, in possession, the team has been asked to play out of defense and then look for the overlap on either flank. They're also playing low crosses and working the ball into the box. The passing directness for this system is shorter, but instead of a higher tempo, we have a slightly higher tempo to try and hold, like, gain some control over the game and not just rush things too much. The general mentality for this system is positive. I don't recommend really going attacking because you're going to be too expansive and too open and you may end up shipping a lot more goals than you want to. So positive mentality does work for this system, and also I recommend the balanced mentality as well, just trying to see how the game goes, how the game unfolds. That's usually for the start of the game, or if you're playing against a team that is much bigger than you in the league, or you're trying to see off the end of a game for some reason. Balanced mentality is also a good way to go, but by default it's going to be left on positive. You see the name as 2-1-bit-424, but I sort of came across this in a Football Manager Streamers Playoff Showdown, something like that, and the tactic really stuck out with me. I wonder how it was going to do, and then it did turn out that the system that was operating in this Streamer Showdown was actually quite good. I don't remember who the creator was, but this system goes on to get good results even for mid-table teams that are supposed to struggle in the division. They somehow get all the way to promotion places and then compete for promotion even in their first season, like Notts County in Sky Bet League 2. So I'll be back with more Football Manager tactic videos like this, especially for Football Manager 2024, and if you're down for that, remember to subscribe to the channel so you can get notified when more tactic videos do come out here on the channel. Thanks for watching this video. I do appreciate all you guys that support the channel. I enjoy it. The feedback that I get from you guys, I really appreciate that. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you in the next video.